Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I gotta do something a little different today. I gotta figure out how to put on makeup. Now don't worry, I'm not transitioning, it's nothing like that. Let me tell you what's going on. As you recall, last couple of years I've been working at a local Halloween attraction called the Silo of Screams. In fact, you saw me do an interview with John Guthrie about a week ago for that attraction. Now the first year I was there, the role that I played was the creepy dentist. I was in a maze called the Von Winkle Memorial Hospital, and in the middle of it, it was me in what was supposed to be a dental office. I had like a dental chair, and I'm performing unnecessary dental work on a severed head. And because I was in there and I was alone in the room and all that, they decided they wanted to have some kind of gory makeup put on, some cuts and scars and stuff like that to kind of add to the effect. And since I wasn't working at the time, I could go into the Silo of Screams about an hour early and sit in the chair and allow their makeup professional to put on these scars and wounds and stuff like that, and it looked really good. Now last year when I did it, I had a job already, and so I was kind of blowing in there at the last minute because the Silo of Screams opens up at 8 o'clock and I got off at work at 7:30, and it's about a 30-minute drive from Waco to Temple. So I could blow in there, get in there right at 8 o'clock and get in there in time. And we were also kind of at the beginning of the COVID madness at that time, and so everybody in the maze, both the actors and the guests, were wearing surgical face masks. And so the role I had there, I was in the Her Wicked Way Museum, and I was basically some medical insane person who was desecrating some body in a closed room. And so, I could just kind of mess my hair up, and that and the mask I was wearing and the lab coat that I was wearing, it was all covered with blood, and then what I was doing, that was enough for the effect. But this year I'm going back in and playing the role of the creepy dentist again. And since I'm going to be working this time, I'm not going to have time to be sitting in the chair to have the makeup artist put my makeup on. So when I was there the other day, they kind of gave me a crash course in simple wounds, and they gave me some makeup to do that. And as you recall, I showed you I did something on my arm, and it looked pretty convincing, but I want to practice a little bit on my face and see if I can, do something looking pretty cool. I don't know exactly what I want to do. I think I want to do something on my cheek. I've been also thinking of maybe duplicating, if you ever saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, at the end of the movie, Jack Nicholson's character acts up so many times that the doctors eventually lobotomize him. And he's got a couple of scars here on the forehead from when they lobotomized him. And I want to try and fake some lobotomy scars too. I don't know if I'll do that today or we'll just save that for when I actually do it for real. But I want to experiment with it. I've got the makeup, I've got the brushes, I've been shown how to do it, and I want to just see what I can come up with. So let's go and get going on this. This is going to be interesting. Alright, so these are the tools that I'm going to use to do this. This thing and this thing here are both available at Spirit Halloween, so you can get them easily. I'm not sure where they got this. This might be something that they got at some specialty store or something. This is just called an injury stack, and basically it's got different kinds of basically paint that you put on your face to get different types of effects. They recommended that I use the brown and the red. They said stay away from the black, the purple, and whatever this gold color is on the top. So I'm just going to work with these two. This is the stuff that kind of creates the impression of the actual wound itself that's kind of coagulated a little bit. And then this stuff is good for creating just the blood that be dripping out of the wound. This is like this is more the scab, and this is the blood. And then I got a couple of brushes here. Now they actually gave me these two blue brushes here, and this brush specifically didn't look like any of the bristles were left on it. So I actually went over to my local Spirit to try and find a couple of more brushes to do. They didn't have them over there, but I did find these brushes over at Michael's, and they seem pretty similar to the brushes they gave me. So I'm going to try as much as I can to use their brushes, but if need be, I've got these two, which will help. So let's get going on this. All right, first thing I want to try and do is simulate like a wound on my cheek here. And so what I was taught to do is we start off with some of the brown, and I'm just going to get some of that on the brush here. And I'm going to kind of define the region of the wound here. I have to get on there pretty good here. I'll probably improvise a little bit, mix it up a little bit. Maybe make it a gash or something like that, maybe a curved wound or something like that. This is more just an idea of getting the idea how it all works. I said kind of make it look a little brushed out on the edges here a little bit, on the corners here on the edges. Alright, that's a good start with that. Now we're going to go to the red. And what I want to do here is kind of go around the edges of this. And this is just going to make it look inflamed and infected. And so they recommend just doing this kind of light along the edges. Just make it look red and inflamed. Like not only do I have a nasty gash on my face, it's all infected. It's starting to look a little real, right? Alright, that looks pretty decent. Not bad for a beginner, right? I'm going to use a little Kleenex to try and clean the excess off of the brush here. Now I'm going to go back and go through the middle of it again with the brown color. And just really kind of bring out that wound. Alright, that looks decent, right? Gotta admit, I never thought I'd be doing a show on how to put on makeup, but it's come to that. Alright, now we're going to use this bloody scar stuff here. Let me get it to focus here. That's what that is. And that's more almost like a jelly looking stuff here. And that's, like I said, I was told just kind of dab that on, kind of like, and I'll show you here. That's supposed to look like clotted blood. Lovely, huh? Yeah. Gives it a little texture. Oh, it's pretty horrible, doesn't it? Looks like I had a serious problem shaving. Yeah, that looks pretty decent, right? Now we're gonna add the real gore here. Now they didn't really show me how to use this, but I've messed with this stuff a little bit in the past because I was using this last year when I was in the Her Wicked Way Museum, or maze. And what I remember about this stuff is it's sticky and it gets all over the place. So I'm gonna try and be really careful and not getting this all over the place, because this is going to look like, you know, this is going to be the blood that's dripped. You know, like I got blood dripping off of it here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on there a little bit and kind of let it naturally drip a little bit, because it seems to me this stuff kind of tends to run a little bit, so, and that's what kind of the effect that I want. So get a little bit more on there. Oh yeah. Since this stuff is kind of a liquid, it will kind of run a little bit, and that's what we want. So I want to get enough of it up there. You can see it's already starting to drip a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty horrific looking. I don't know, what do you think? Look pretty good, huh? Now I think I'm going to turn the camera off for a minute here, and I am going to also try doing my lobotomy scars. And so we'll catch up with that in a minute. That'll also allow maybe this stuff should thin a little bit as it warms up on my skin, and hopefully it'll drip a little bit more. And I'll show you what the finished effect is in a couple minutes. See you then. Alright, I've completed now doing the work for my lobotomy scars. I think they turned out pretty good. Actually, I finished up doing this about 10 or 15 minutes ago, and actually went and edited yesterday's video. So think about that I was looking like this when I edited the pot roast video that you watched last time, because I wanted to give enough time for the blood to kind of drip a little bit. And sometimes it's kind of got to get up to your body temperature, so it turns a little bit more liquid and drips a little bit, and I think that adds to the gore. But I don't know, I think that looks pretty good. Now this took 10 or 15 minutes probably to apply, and I may not do something this elaborate, at least not the first night or first couple nights, because like I said, it takes about 45 minutes for me to get to Silo, or it takes about 30 minutes for me to get to Silo Screams from work. And I get off of work at 7:30, Silo Screams starts at 8. So I'm not gonna maybe have 20 minutes to do it, but I think I can come up with a couple of convincing scars, maybe on my face or something like that, or maybe something on my forehead dripping down my nose. That'll look kind of cool. And even if the drips aren't complete by the time I go in there, it's okay. As I start working, start sweating a little bit, it will start dripping a little bit, and it'll look good. So I think, I gotta learn a little bit more about it, but I think that, in kind of a dark room, this will look kind of convincing, right? Imagine me in a lab coat that's all splattered with blood, and I'm doing something weird to some severed head, and then pick up the head and start chasing people with it. I think that will kind of scare people, right? I think this looks pretty good. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. So I don't know. I think it doesn't look too horribly bad. And like I said, maybe I'll get a little bit better as I do it. But there you go. That's kind of the basics of putting on realistic looking wounds. So at least from an amateur standpoint. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Pleasant dreams.